Hi, welcome to Dig In with True Leaf Market. I'm Ashley,
I'm Haley.
and we're here to talk a little bit about the pumpkin regatta that we have coming up and what that entails, and just enjoy a little bit of pumpkin season.
Oh yeah, it's pumpkin season heavy.
Oh,
Pumpkin
yeah.
spice lattes, the scents, perfumes. Can't get away from it.
So, if you've never heard of a pumpkin regatta, we want to detail a little bit about what that is, because I know a lot of people probably haven't heard of it, and those who have know just how awesome it really is.
Yeah, it's a very unique event for sure. Some people know about it in like the Salt Lake City area and they go every year. Some people have no idea what I'm talking about when I bring it up. And then they usually think I'm lying when I tell them we get in giant pumpkins and row around. They're like, no, you can't do that. So, Mountain Valley Seed, which is part of True Leaf, started this about 20 years ago now. We used to do it at Sugar House, which is more of a pond, a little dirtier. So we moved a few years ago to Live Daybreak, which has a much cleaner little lake area. They upkeep it so much better, and it's an event now we do with them in kind of a partnership. And we just, every year, usually mid-October, we show up with as many pumpkins as we can find and as many growers and any people who want to participate show up and we race on their lake.
Specifically, we race inside
The
giant pumpkins.
Yes, usually anywhere from 600 to 900 pound pumpkins, kind of ideal if you're actually rowing the pumpkin. You can still row, like we've done like 450 before, but those fit kids really well, or very small adults. Yes, anything from 6 to 900 is gonna fit your regular adult, full-grown guy, and yeah, it's heavy though. I think we have some of our competition winners on our trophy here. I think some of our winners have rode some pretty heavy pumpkins across that finish line, and they're very strong people.
And where do our giant pumpkins come from? Because obviously, everyone who's participating in the race is inside a giant pumpkin. But they come from like lots of different places.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things, like True Leaf Market's grown our own before. We have a blog article about that. Actually, Lance, one of our partners, has grown his, and we've actually used it to race and row before. It's a very complicated process though, which I'm sure you'll have more questions about later. We can go into the growing of it, but a lot of Utah farmers, I would say Idaho, Wyoming is where we source most of our growers, and we've got lifetime connections with some of these guys who have been growing with the Utah Pumpkin Growers Association, and they all kind of partner together and they show up and race their own, and sometimes they'll bring a few for us if we don't have any on hand. And so for Utah, for our ginormous pumpkin regatta, most of our growers are in Idaho, Wyoming, and of course Utah.
So do you see pumpkin regattas happening anywhere else? Because I know we do ours, but are there other states that people can look for them?
Absolutely. They're inspired by other states that have done this for longer than we have. I think Oregon has a very popular one, very big. I think it's just in Portland, and then they have there's one in Maine. I've seen ones in like Kentucky and Minnesota. There's anywhere there's a giant body of water, someone seems to want to put a pumpkin in it, but they're just not well known.
That's so fun. So if you want to participate, in Utah, keep an eye out. We have a few different events coming up relating to the giant pumpkins, and then we have the pumpkin regatta kind of ending them all. And then if you live anywhere else, go look them up. See if you have a local event nearby that you can go either participate in or just go enjoy the fun of the festivities.
Yeah, absolutely. There's this Saturday in Logan, Utah, there's a Way Off event with the Utah Pumpkin Growers Association. They're also doing a second Way Off event. That one's the 11th of October, and that'll be at the Gateway Mall in downtown Salt Lake. That will precede our regatta event, which is the 18th of October at Daybreak, Utah.
Perfect. So you're welcome. Come join us. We're going to have lots of fun things going on.
There's food trucks, lots of activities for kids. It's not just watching races. They'll do like a paddleboard race as well, a porta potty race they did last year. I think they're doing that again this year. So if you want to see people just make fools of themselves, it's very easy to do so here.
All in the name of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these events too, like the Way Off events, you know, if you're going to try and grow something like a giant pumpkin, there are other categories too, like vegetables and gourds. So it's very kid friendly, all of these events. So it's about getting your heart back into gardening and doing kind of a family event more than just something that, you know, gets you in the Guinness Book of World Records.
So bringing up records, do you know any information about some of the largest pumpkins that have been grown? What the records
actually,
are?
I brought a couple. I wrote down a couple little notes here for some of our Utah growers that hold the Utah record. And like last year, we actually broke the original record. So in 2022, Mohammed Sadiq grew a 2,287 pound pumpkin, and that was in Bountiful, Utah, so a little north of here. And then last year we broke that record. Ralph Lobb in Vernal, he actually went to the Logan Way Off that we're going to this Saturday. He grew a 2,289 pound pumpkin, so just 2 points difference. But you know, now he has the Utah state record. But you know, we can't bring up Utah records without talking about the world record. So the largest pumpkin, which is really worth looking up, and if you guys want to throw a little photo up or something, it's definitely worth it. This would be Travis Geiger. He grew a 2,749 pound pumpkin, and it is big. You could fit a family in it. It's very large. He grew it in Minnesota and then hauled it to California, where he got his official Way Off number and got into the Guinness Book of World Records. So,
wow,
yeah.
That's some crazy stuff.
Yep. Before that, I think there's been like the Guinness Book holder was in Italy. There's been one in Switzerland. I think this is he's got the U.S. record now. So we're in there. But
so if someone wants to grow their own giant pumpkin, what are some of the key things that they should be looking for as far as, you know, what to buy, you know, what seeds to use?
Absolutely. Like there's a few extra large pumpkin varieties out there. The most common that people use are Dill's Atlantic. They're a large pumpkin, very easy to grow. They take on a lot of water, and a lot of people who've grown a large pumpkin before actually take the seeds from that existing pumpkin, dry them, save them, and then they regrow them. So some of the pumpkin growers I deal with on a year-to-year basis, they're growing from pumpkins that grew, the seeds that they grew like a couple years ago. So they like to save their seeds, and I think there's some results. I think I do see bigger pumpkins year after year from these guys.
Awesome. You know, those people are taking it real serious. They're keeping track of those genetics and what's the best for each year.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep. Tried and true. Can't go wrong. If you have good luck, stay with it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you want to grow your own giant pumpkin, we do have a blog that details some of the basic steps and things that you'll want to watch for, and some ways that you can take care of it. But can you just give us a quick bullet point list of what someone would want to take special attention to when growing a giant pumpkin?
Yeah, actually, I have a few things about that. So, Utah Pumpkin Growers Association does a training you can sign up for on their website. They usually do that about March, and they're going to tell you how to do it from start to finish. But the keynotes, if you want to take on this, adventure, it is work. It's a lot of work. So you're usually starting your seeds in April. And by the time they're in the ground, the best thing you're doing is fertilizing and watering. So you start with something simple like a 10-10-10 fertilizer, and as your vines get bigger, you'll trim your vines and you'll actually cut off extra pumpkins that are on the same vine because you want it to focus on one. So you kind of pick your favorite, and that's going to be your baby for the year. The best thing to do for that guy to get it to grow as big as possible is if it's growing in some sand or like on a foam pad or something, that helps avoid rot if it's just sitting in the ground. And keeping it covered from weather and stuff like that is also going to keep it safe and, keep pests out. I think I rode a pumpkin 2 years ago that was eaten by a moose. So there's just a giant bite mark taken out of it, but it still floated, So taking care of it, and then eventually you're going to use really high potassium fertilizer as it gets larger and larger, and then constant watering. These things can grow like 50 pounds a day just from that water and fertilizer.
That is crazy in my mind.
Yeah, when you finally see one or stand in one, you're like, yeah, this is huge.
Yeah, I know it's always so much fun when we get to the regatta, seeing everyone paddling around in their pumpkins and seeing the different shapes that they also take, because how it lays on the ground can affect kind of if it looks kind of squashed, or some of them are really nice and round, and that actually seems to be a little trickier when people are paddling.
Yeah, and that's usually like weather and ailments. Sometimes it'll just kind of deflate, and then it still grows, but it's growing sideways, and those aren't you can also row those. You just have to be very flexible to get inside them.
So I know a lot of people have questions. They think, large pumpkins, you're rowing in them, how do they float? Can you tell us a little bit about why they float, how they float?
Well, it's your classic Archimedes principle. So the object is its weight is displacing like equal to the water that it's in. So like we have a little water jug here, and this is obviously a stress ball, so it's full of air, but it's gonna float. Same thing with like a pumpkin's flesh. It has porous flesh, which is gonna hold little air pockets all the way down to like the molecular level, and of course it is hollow, giant hollow cavity. You can put a person in it, so they definitely displace a lot of water, but they do float, and yeah, it's just science.
Yeah, just science. Anyway, we hope that you enjoyed this and that you take on your own adventure. Try growing your own giant pumpkin or a regular pumpkin, and look for those events that are near you, or come join our event.
Yes, everybody is welcome. Please come see us on the 18th. The event starts about 10 a.m. and goes till about 2.
So enjoy. We hope that you continue to watch our upcoming live streams, or if you want to take a peek at our past ones, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and go to our live tab on our YouTube to watch some more.
And check those links for our regatta site links, and how to grow your own.
And if you have any questions or comments, or if you just want to see some upcoming topics that you're interested in, go ahead and drop those in our comment section so that we can consider them for future live streams.
Absolutely.
Thanks for digging in with True Leaf Market.